Hey guys, today we're going to be starting a new unit on bivariate data analysis. We'll come to exactly what that means in a minute, but specifically what we're going to be looking at today is something called scatterplots, and this is a way that we can visually represent information. We'll see exactly what that means in a second. So bivariate data is data that has two variables. For instance, a person has a height and an arm span here. These are two variables that each person will have. And these numbers here represent the height and arm span of a single person. And then a scatter plot, what we're looking at today, is this thing here. One of the variables, height, is represented here on the x-axis, and the other variable, arm span, is represented here on the y-axis, and each one of these dots represents a pair of numbers here in the table. So let's look at a worked example about interpreting a scatter plot to get a better sense of how everything works. So this first question, A, what is the scale of the vertical axis? So this is the numeracy score for Year 6 students, taking something like a NAPLAN, I suppose. And it seems that each of these blue lines is 25. I think that's what the question is asking. This question is honestly kind of confusing and not that useful. So the average numeracy score for the country which has an internet usage rate of 24%. So we need to find here an internet usage rate of 24%, which I think is probably here. And then we follow that up to this dot here. This represents a variable here for a country with an internet use of 24%, their average numeracy score, if we read off this axis, let me use a straight line, seems to be 120. Okay, we'll try again for part C. What is the internet use for the country which has an average numeracy score of 160? So now we have to find a numeracy score of 160. Now it seems that the dot we're referring to is this one, not this one, because that line isn't straight. And then this dot sits exactly on the 50% line. So that means the answer to question C is 50%. That is, the country that has an average numeracy score of 160 has an internet use of around 50%. Now, how many countries have internet use of less than 50%? That means if we extend this line here at the 50% line, countries that have an internet use of less than 50% all lie on this side of the line. So we just need to count up the dots on this side of the line. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6. So that means 6 countries have internet use below 50%. How many countries have a numeracy score greater than 100? We can do the same thing. If we draw a line here at 100, all the countries that are greater than 100 are going to be over 100 on this line. So we'll just count up all the dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, we have 6 countries. Is there a relationship between these two variables? So what this question is asking us is there a pattern in what's happening here? And there's not a super obvious pattern in this, the layout of these dots. It kind of does that. At the lower values of internet use, it doesn't seem to make a difference, but when internet use gets above 20%, there seems to be a fairly distinct increase in numeracy scores. So that's what you would say. You'll get a lot of questions when we go into the textbook work that ask you to say something about the data, make a conclusion about the data, and that is basically what we're doing here as well, is we're looking for a pattern in the dots on the scatter plot. So when it comes to constructing a scatter plot, you will get, I think, one question like this. I want you to follow these steps. So it would be helpful if you wrote this down in your book right now before you get up to that. The first thing we're going to do is just draw up the axis. And then it's really important that we put a scale and title on our x and y axis. And then we plot each pair of numbers with a dot. So the work you guys are going to be doing today is found in exercise 6A on page 166, and you're going to do question 1, 2, 3 and 4. Thanks guys.